Okay, I think this is episode 3 of Miitopia. First and foremost, before I proceed on with any other discussions, I do want to point out that I'm trying to record this on OBS because the iSpring recorder, oh my god, it would take forever to export and upload. And I did a video test with the OBS, since you can just record regular videos too. You know, you don't have to just use it for live stream, and you can also use it for like recordings. So I made an unlisted video just to see for myself, and it seems to do a lot better than the ice cream free cam. Okay, for some reason it kept going back to the serious soul. It kept going back to Ernie. Alright. Sorry, my mic was moved. Yeah, in case they didn't hear me, yeah, I'm trying out recording with OBS instead of iScream Free Cam 8, since that one took forever to export and upload. Like, it would take hours. Like, I would upload at like 6 p.m. and I would barely make it to like 12:30. Like, it was stressful, but I tried to make an unlisted video just to see for myself, and yeah, it seems like this one's a lot better, and like it gets videos uploaded quicker. So I'm gonna try to just move to this one, since, like I said, you don't just have to use it for streams, but also for, like, you know, just regular recordings. Hold on, let me see something right quick. I'm gonna see if I can minimize this and see if it interferes with my recording or not. Okay, good. It doesn't seem to be good, because having it up will be a bit distracting, so yeah. Now, I did do some gameplay off screen. Nothing to progress the story, but I did buff up some grub stats. You know, I improved some friendships, and I got some equipment upgrades. Alright, the Banshees are not as overpowered as they were in the beginning. That's good. But yeah. I'm gonna hopefully migrating to OBS for not just live streams, but for regular recordings will be beneficial for me. Let's see. Does she have? Can she use? Okay, good. Thank you. Because it puts them on auto battle, so I'm glad it disabled or removed their crying status effects. But I have a rant planned. I was originally gonna do the dog rant next, but I'm still not 100% sure, because I want to save it for the week my grandparents go on vacation, but I thought it was last Monday, then I thought it was this Monday, so it may be next week. I'm gonna do it on probably Thursday of next week. If next week is the day they go on vacation, I'm gonna do it, but I still wanted to get another episode out since I promised I would get one out sometime in May. So, yeah, I'm going ahead and doing episode 3, but I just instead have another rant planned. And it's gonna be on tiger parents and helicopter parents. Now, I'm mostly going to talk about tiger parenting. I'll talk a little bit about helicopter parenting too, but I feel like tiger parenting is gonna mainly be what I'm gonna be ranting on. Because I told you about it in I believe it was in my Scooperia episode. You know, I talked about it a little bit about what has been going on. And Purple Ethan, I don't know if you're watching this, but I talked about it with you briefly. I don't even know if Ashton is aware, because he hasn't really been engaging in vents, in like rants / vents. So I haven't talked about it with him yet, but I definitely want to when the time is right. But basically, what is inspiring me to do this rant is because of something that has been bothering me since December of last year. I feel like my dad has been acting like a tiger parent lately. Not so much a helicopter parent, but a little bit on the, a little bit of a tiger parent. Because what it means to be a tiger parent and a tiger parent and a helicopter parent, they're two different things, but they often overlap. Sometimes people can be both. Sometimes they're more so a tiger parent. Sometimes they're more so a helicopter parent. Thankfully, I wouldn't really consider my dad a helicopter parent. I mean, he can be a bit strict and overprotective, but, helicopter parents, they tend to micromanage everything almost everything you're doing, if not everything you're doing. And thankfully, my dad doesn't do that. But I have talked him a little bit about my writing aspirations, how I want to eventually publish some books. Granted, I've been very vague about it, but I have told him a little bit about it here and there. And then all of a sudden, in I believe December, he started to get on my ass about winning a Pulitzer Prize. And this has been going on for months now. Like, he keeps harassing. Well, I don't know if I would say harass, but he has been on my ass about winning a Pulitzer Prize. And some of the stuff that he's saying is a bit distressing and even a bit hurtful. I mean, I know he might be joking or something, but he needs to understand that there's a difference between actual silly, lighthearted banter and just saying anything you want and then claiming it's a joke. You know, jokes are supposed to make people laugh, and then, like, you know, jokes are meant to be funny and you know, give people, like, something to enjoy. They're not supposed to make you question your well-being and your future. And then my dad's quote-unquote joked to me that if I don't win a Pulitzer Prize in the next 4 years, that he was gonna kick me out and make me live on the streets. And it's not, and I'm sorry, but that shit's just not funny. I don't know why he thinks those jokes are funny. They're not. Like, they're hurtful. And then, like, I try to talk to my dad about it, and he just gets mad at me. Like, one day, like, he'll claim it's a joke, then the next day, or, like, you know, a later day in general, he'll continue quote-unquote joking about it, and it's just been stressing me out. But yeah, that's basically what a tiger parent is, you know. They have unrealistic expectations of their child. You know, for example, they may expect them to be valedictorian, they may expect them to get a scholarship, they may expect them to get, like, a really lucrative job and make lots of money, you know. It can be just anything. It can be school, it can be college, it can even be, like, their career path, you know. And so, yeah, it's probably debatable, but my dad getting on my ass about winning a Pulitzer Prize, I feel like that could fall under tiger parenting. Because you're expecting your child, or nagging whatever, your child to fulfill an unrealistic goal. I mean, it's possible, you know, but at the same time, he needs to understand a couple of things. Number one, even some of the most talented and reputable authors don't even have a Pulitzer Prize, or even an award in general. And number two, there are other ways to succeed. Like, I just want to help people, you know. Winning a prestigious award is just a bonus, but the main reason I want to write is to help myself and to help other people, you know. I want to seek validation and help others who are seeking validation. You know, I want to spread awareness and knowledge and world peace. And kindness and happiness, you know. I want to promote positivity. That's the main reason why I want to be a writer, or why I'm trying to become a writer, not just as a hobby, but hopefully as a living in the near future, because it's cathartic. Like I said, you know, it's very therapeutic, and I can find people to relate to and help other people who feel alone. You know, I want to remind people that they're not alone, and not just people who are in the demographic of who I'm writing for, but also the outsiders, because I want to, you know, educate them on certain stuff like self-shipping, neurodiversity, mental health, you know, parenting, even. You know, I want to educate people who lack knowledge when it comes to certain things that pertain to me and other people. I understand wanting your child to succeed, but don't get me wrong, I completely understand. You want your child to like do the best they can, but you also have to think realistically too. There are other ways, like I said, there are other ways to succeed. Your idea of success may not be my own idea of success. To me, winning the award is just like winning like a Pulitzer Prize is just a bonus. It shouldn't be a fucking requirement for me to be considered successful. To me, what, in my opinion, being successful, like I said, means enjoying what I do and helping other people who feel lost or alone or just lack knowledge when it comes to a certain topic. You know, I want... knowing that I've helped people, you know, that to me is the best way I could succeed. But yeah, it might be debatable whether expecting someone to win a Pulitzer Prize is considered like tiger parenting, but what tiger parenting basically means is having unrealistic expectations, like I said. For example, like when it comes to like high school or college, it could mean like being the valedictorian, it could mean getting a full ride scholarship, you know. Basically having wild expectations for your child, or wanting to achieve things that are next to unrealistic. And yeah, my dad's a good guy deep down, like, but some of his jokes and stuff, like, I feel like they go a little too far. Like him saying, oh, if you don't win a Pulitzer Prize in the next few years, I'm kicking you out, you know? Even if it's just a joke, you know, it can be hurtful. And it makes me question my future and my well-being. Hold on, let me see how much time. Okay, 19 minutes. Almost 20. I do want to keep an eye on the time. I, I don't have anything I have to do today, I think, but it's just, you know, I'm paranoid about storage, so I do try to keep an eye out on that. But yeah. And don't get me wrong, winning a prestigious award like the Pulitzer Prize, that's not something to sneeze at, you know. I would love to win a prestigious award for my works. But I'm also trying to be, but you also have to think realistically as well. Plus, I feel like it can be subjective too, you know? It may, like, just because something wins a prestigious prize, you know, there could still be, like, a group of people who find the story to be, I don't know, of poor writing or just, you know, not very good, so I feel like it can be a subjective thing too. Author awards can. Hell, I saw this story that won a Pulitzer Prize. I forgot which one it was, but apparently only 80-something% of people liked it. And that seems pretty good in itself, but for a Pulitzer Prize winner, doesn't that seem pretty low? Like, I would expect a Pulitzer Prize winning story to have like a 95% of people who liked it or above, you know? Not below 90. But yeah, I just think my dad has been very shallow lately. Why does he care so much about me winning a Pulitzer Prize? He should just care about me succeeding and me helping people. And me being happy with what I do. And he keeps making excuses. Oh, I'm just trying to motivate you. And I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, Dad, but it's not working. You're not motivating me. You're just stressing me out. And stress can actually cause you to, you know, be unmotivated. It can actually demotivate people, so it's kind of ironic in a way. Him claiming to motivate me, but he's just making me feel stressed out and demotivated. So yeah. And what's funny is he was never that much of a tiger parent. You know, during, like, when I was in school. Yeah, him and my mom, like, they got really bitchy about grades, but it's not like they were pushing me to get fucking valedictorian or get a fucking award or something. You know, this is just something that started back in, like, December, like I said. All of a sudden. And then helicopter, probably come back to the tiger parenting discussion, but I kind of want to talk a little bit about helicopter parenting too. I wouldn't really consider my dad a helicopter dad, or even my mom, really. Yeah, my mom was a little, is like, you know, she's very intrusive and she gets very bitchy easily, but I wouldn't really consider her a hardcore helicopter parenting, or a hardcore helicopter parent. My dad, I feel like he can be a bit overprotective, but again, I wouldn't really consider him a helicopter parent. Well, my mom, it's a bit debatable, but because, like I said, she was very intrusive, and I remember there was a time back in 2017, she started to get really mad at me, and, like, she was getting, like, very bitchy at me. For no reason, like, she was, like, lecturing me about looking up inappropriate things on the computer, and I wasn't even doing that. Like, she was just getting angry for no reason, and I get, like, she just wanted to, like, maybe, like, give a friendly reminder, but her tone of voice, as I remember it, you know, it was very, very bitchy and angry. I'm sorry if I sound disrespectful, but I don't know. My mom just, ugh. She just drives me crazy. Not just recently, but back then as well. Yeah, I don't like the clown robe. It's cursed. I'll keep the star robe. Luckily my dad, you know, even though he can, like I said, he's a bit overprotective, but he can also be very chill, you know. He knows that I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to, you know. I just hang out on Discord, or just playing my games, or just writing, you know. I'm a very chill and laid-back person, and my dad knows that about me, so he doesn't have any reason to be a helicopter to parent anyway. And like I said, my mom, you know, I wouldn't really consider her a hardcore helicopter parent. It's debatable if she's considered a helicopter parent or not, but she can be very intrusive and paranoid and gets angry over nothing. So, yeah, but, you know, basically, I think I mentioned this, but a helicopter parent is basically someone who hovers over their children, like, monitoring every little thing they do. You know, that's a helicopter parent. They kind of micromanage everything, every little thing their child is doing, making sure they're not doing anything wrong or something. You know, they don't give them any privacy. That's basically what a helicopter parent is. And I recently, like, I don't know how long ago it was, but I saw a commercial or an advertisement or whatever you want to call it for an app that's it's basically a helicopter parent app, but it'll basically tell you where your child is at. And like it gives like an overhead view of your child. Basically like a helicopter, you know. It gives an overhead view of your child to see where they are and what they're doing. And it'll like tell you, oh, so-and-so arrived to school. And you can even like listen to It's fucking wild. It's like next level helicopter. It takes helicopter parenting to the next level. If I remember, I'll play the video after this, you know, right before I end the episode. I'll play the video so you can see for yourself. But oh my god, the app, it's wild. The app was wild. But yeah, it's basically my dad being acting like a tiger parent lately. And I get it. You want your children to succeed. And you want to make sure your children are doing the right thing. But, oh my goodness, like, for the love of God, you have to respect your child's autonomy and, like, their boundaries, you know? You can help your child to succeed and make sure they're doing the right thing without being a hardcore tiger helicopter parent. You know what I mean? I remember my friend Ashton said that my mom gets mad easily, and ugh. Ashton does have a point. But yeah. And I'm glad my dad wants me to succeed. And I'm glad he's not saying shit like, oh, you're never gonna succeed. You're not gonna win. You're never gonna win an award. I'm glad that he's not saying stuff like that, but sometimes the opposite can also be harmful too, you know? Yes, it's not having faith in your child, you know. That's harmful, but so is having these unrealistic expectations. Sorry. Hold on, I'll be right back. I have to go do something right quick. Alright. I apologize for the Wait, but we're back. Oh god. Okay, at least we have 2 mages. They can take care of the moles. Okay, good. Me and Ashton. Woo! But yeah, as I was saying, both sides are harmful. Like not having faith in your child, it can damage their self-esteem and it can make them question if they are able to achieve their goals. For example, Purple Ethan has been dealing with that with his mom. His mom knows that Purple Ethan wants to be a fighter pilot, but his mom doesn't think he can due to his autism and his ADHD. Which is kind of ableist, actually. Now, I don't know if... I definitely wouldn't consider his mom a tiger mom, because she's basically the opposite of a tiger mom. You know, because, she's on the other side of the spectrum. You have parents who don't have faith in their children, then you have parents who have unrealistic expectations. You know, the latter is what a tiger parent is. As for being a helicopter parent, you know, I'm not sure if she is considered one, but she does get on Purple Ethan's ass a lot. And yeah, I know about the fighter pilot stuff because he would vent a lot in the Discord server about how his mom keeps telling him about how he's not qualified to be a fighter pilot, and yeah, so we're both in harmful situations with our parents, just very different and kind of on the opposite ends. And I feel like a lot of parents project their own goals and their own insecurities onto their child. Deep down, they want to do something, but they know they either can't or that it's too late, so they try to project onto their child to do it instead, and I just don't have that mindset that a lot of parents do. If I want something done, I want to be the one to do it. You know, if I had, like, a child, if my child achieved something that I wanted to, I would be proud of them for sure, but I wouldn't feel any first-hand fulfillment, if you know what I mean. It wouldn't be the same as achieving something on my own. And like I said, yes, I would be happy for my child, and I would be proud, but like I said, it just wouldn't be the same as achieving something on my own. If my dad wants a fucking Pulitzer Prize so much, then he should go out and try to win one. He's not much of a writer, but he is a musician. Well, you know what I mean. I don't know if he's, like, written any songs yet, but he does play the drums, and in the future he did talk about wanting to eventually try to write his own songs, so And that is one of the categories, the Pulitzer Prize awards, is, you know, music. So I think my dad should back off and just try to win his own Pulitzer Prize and let me succeed in my own way. And like I said, I get it. Like, don't get me wrong. Winning an award for my books, that sounds like a dream. It does, but it's more of a bonus to me, you know. It shouldn't be a requirement for me to be considered a successful author. To me, like I said, being a successful author is simply enjoying what I do and helping other people. That's the main. That's really my main goal as a self-help author and a non-fiction author. Is I just want to. Oh, our first quarrel. Oh boy. But yeah, that's my main goal in my main idea of success. You know, I just want to help people and, you know, help people, you know, educate people, and then, you know, I want people to become better versions of themselves. Why does my dad care about a silly, high-status prize more than helping people? You know what I mean? Like, it's very materialistic and shallow. There are a bunch of amazing authors and a bunch of amazing books. They don't need a fucking award to be considered good or successful. You know what I mean? And that's another issue with Tiger. Oh God, seriously? What the fuck? Hold on, let me just check. Oh wow, 43 already. That's what happens when you go on and on and on. Okay, that has never happened before. Oh. Oh, never mind. It was still Anton and Taru. It's just Anton and Taru, but I could have sworn like there was two. I got two cutscenes, but luckily they were both just Anton and Taru. Huh. Okay, that was bizarre. But yeah, that's another issue with tiger parenting is that parents don't seem to understand that there are other ways to succeed, you know. It's not black and white, you know what I mean? Tiger parents seem to think, oh, you either become valedictorian, win a prestigious award, or you're not successful. You know what I mean? Like, they don't seem to remember or seem to consider that there are other measurements of success. For example, you can do good in school, and but without getting like scholarships or valedictorian or salutatorian. You know, just because you don't have those roles or those scholarships, that doesn't mean you're not successful. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing with tiger parents, is they don't seem to understand that success is more nuanced than they tend to believe. And it can affect your well-being, too. In fact, I've been stressing out about this whole situation. But yeah, it can affect your mental well-being, having someone who has these unrealistic expectations of you. And as time goes on, I'm gonna try to explain to my dad more and more. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I can damn well try. Okay, I don't know when exactly I'm gonna end off the episode, but I think we should be pretty close to defeating the Griffin. Or Peter Griffin, as you said, Green Ethan. So I'm probably, if it's not too far along, then I'm probably gonna end it off after we do that. Well, rather, although I'm not gonna end the video quite yet, because I do want to show you that video I was talking about, Green Ethan. But yeah, I'll admit though, it was kind of funny in the live stream yesterday, because I was bringing up the whole tiger parenting and helicopter parenting. Then I got the fucking white tiger special. It was so I don't know why, but I got a kick out of that. The game couldn't have picked a better episode to give me that special. And the thing is, it's just me. For some reason, my dad isn't acting like a tiger parent to my brother. Because he's in college. He doesn't seem to expect anything crazy out of him. He just wants him to pass and graduate. Parents just don't seem to understand the difference between success and like just having these crazy expectations. You know what I mean? I wish my dad cared more about me helping people rather than well, not stupid, but you know what I mean. An award. I don't mean that, and I want him to be self-righteous about it, but you know what I mean. That's another problem too, is like, you know, self-righteousness. Obviously, you want to help people and you want to care about helping people. But as long as you're not self-righteous about it, then I don't understand why my dad doesn't care about that, you know what I mean? Because my mom herself, she can be self-righteous. She has shown self-righteous behavior towards me in the past. But my dad can care about me wanting to help people without being self-righteous about it. You know, and my mom for that matter. You know, I want to. One of the books I plan to write is a book about parental guidance, and I think I'm going to talk a little bit about tiger parenting and helicopter parenting, why it's harmful. And I do want to explore the parent perspective of things. You know, I'm gonna be like, look, it's normal to want your child to succeed, and you want to make sure they're safe, and you want to make sure they're doing the right thing, but you can do that without, you know, going all tiger helicopter on them, you know what I mean? But yeah, and the thing is, like, how does my dad expect me to win a Pulitzer Prize when I can't even publish any books yet? Because I need a bank account to be able to publish books, and before I get a bank account, you know, I have to get my ID. You know, he needs to understand that, you know, it's a step-by-step process. Once I finally get my ID, then hopefully I can get my bank account. And, you know, not too long after. And then once I get a book finished, then I can publish a book. And then I can start getting money and nominated for prizes. You know what I mean? It's a step-by-step process. I think my dad is trying to push me to, like, do traditional publishing, and, like, he's telling me that he can just publish something, but number one, I want to go down the self-publishing route. Because, you know, a lot of publishers will reject a lot of types of books. And I don't want to have to deal with that, so I rather just self-publish. And number two, I want to use my bank account, you know. I want to use my bank account because, you know, I want it to be my money. I want it to go to my bank account, you know. It'll just go to his bank account, but I want it to go to mine because, you know, my book's my money, you know what I mean? So I rather just wait until I get my bank account, because it can be my own money, and like I said, I want to self-publish, so I don't have to worry about rejections and whatnot. This is why so many children don't confide in their parents about their career goals. Because number one, they're either gonna not have any belief in them. Number two, they're gonna have unrealistic expectations. Or number three, they're gonna try to make them go down a route they do not want to. And in my dad's case, you know, it's number two and number three. I do appreciate he has faith in me and all, but like I said, the opposite can also be harmful too, so he needs to understand that winning a Pulitzer Prize is not that simple. And he also needs to understand that there are many talented authors and talented, you know, and beautifully written books that don't even have the darn prize, you know what I mean? Hell, Purple Ethan said that the Pulitzer Prize has caused controversy, because I was telling him about what has been going on, and then he looked it up, and he told me that it has caused controversies in the past, and, you know, that's another issue. It's kind of harmful that he's considering a Pulitzer Prize the only sign or the only path or whatever, the only, or like winning one is, he's basically, he hasn't explicitly stated it, but he's basically implied that, oh, you have to win a Pulitzer Prize or you're not considered successful. Like, it's just harmful stuff. Again, I'm glad he's not one of those parents who doesn't have any faith in me, but but like I said, the whole unrealistic expectations and trying to make your kid go down a different route with what they want to do, you know, that's the reason why a lot of children don't want to confide in their parents about a career goal. And what's worse, and it can apply to number 3, but some parents may make their child go down a whole different route, or like they may try to make them get into a career that they don't want, but that's more lucrative and prestigious, like a doctor or a lawyer. You know, that can be another example of tiger parenting. Luckily, my dad hasn't been doing that. He's just on my ass about winning a Pulitzer Prize. But still, like, both of them can be harmful to your child. Parents need to be careful. But yeah, that's definitely an issue I want to cover in my parental guidance book. You know, it's good that you want your child to succeed, but you also have to understand that there are different ways, that there are a bunch of different ways to succeed. It's not just, oh, if you don't do this, you're not going to be successful, which is basically my dad's mindset. Okay, hopefully we should... Oh, yeah. We have to get the treasure first. But hopefully we shouldn't be too far off from getting the, you know, the nearby prince and then defeating the griffin. That seems like a good ending point for this episode, so I'll end it off after we defeat the griffin. And then I'll show off that video. But yeah, hopefully, as time goes on, I can have some discussions with my dad, and hopefully he can eventually back off. And then, like, just let me do things on my own pace. And, like, it's even worse, too, is when you blackmail your child, like I mentioned earlier on. Blackmailing your child and expecting them to do something in a certain amount of time, that's even worse. Even if it's just a joke, you know. Jokes should be funny, you know. They shouldn't make your child question their well-being or their future. But yeah, my dad, that's an issue with my dad, is like sometimes his jokes do tend to go too far. And I don't know why, but it seems, it doesn't seem to be uncommon. Like, I hear so many people talk about how their dad has jokes that go too far. Like, I don't understand why it's so common and so commonplace when it, and fathers, but for some reason, it's just something a lot of us have to deal with. Let your child do things at their own pace, please, parents. And don't blackmail your child if they don't fulfill your stupid little goals in a certain amount of time. It's just a mess. And that's another thing too, is I'm neurodivergent, so I do things at my own pace, and I tend to take jokes very seriously, and I feel like my dad does tend to disregard the fact that I'm neurodivergent. I've even tried to talk to him about my ADHD, since I struggle to pay attention a lot of the times. And, like, he just thinks I'm using it as an excuse, and I'm not doing that. I really genuinely think I could have ADHD. But yeah, that's another topic that I feel like can really overlap with parental guidance, is neurodiversity. A lot of the times, like, parents tend to disregard their child's neurodiversity. They either deny their child being neurodivergent altogether, or they tend to downplay them being neurodivergent. And I think my dad knows my dad does understand to some extent that I'm neurodivergent and that my brain is wired differently compared to the average person, but at the same time, he does tend to downplay and disregard a lot of my behavior and a lot of my symptoms and stuff. Like me struggling to understand a lot of his jokes. They say people with autism don't have a sense of humor. And I don't necessarily think that's true. I think a lot of us just we tend to take things very seriously. You know, we can be paranoid when it comes to certain jokes. And yeah, I don't think it's that we don't have a sense of humor. We're just extremely uncomfortable when it comes to certain jokes that may go too far. You know what I mean? I hate moles. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. Luckily, I don't think they can dodge the spicy dish skill. Oh, no. No. Okay, good. Almost messed up there. But yeah. Don't get me wrong. My dad, he's a good guy deep down. I just feel like he can be extremely ignorant and insensitive when it comes to me struggling to navigate a world that's made for neurotypical people. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, and it's not just my dad, like, it's a lot of, like, I think a lot of people in society are guilty of this. even people who are neurodivergent themselves, but especially when it comes to the topic of like autism spectrum disorder, they tend to overlook just how complicated and how different it can vary from person to person. That's actually one of the topics I want to cover in my book. You know, and definitely autism spectrum disorder, since I'm on the spectrum myself, and I want people to be aware about a lot of the symptoms that are overlooked, and I want to talk about some of my personal experiences. But yeah, my father is being a tiger lately. Not a helicopter, but a tiger. Roar. Yeah, I kind of regret talking to, kind of confiding in him about my writing. And even then, like, I've been very vague about it. Because I'm not sure how he feels about the route that I'm going down. You know, I mainly want to focus on nonfiction books. And I know a lot of people are skeptical about nonfiction books and self-help books. So I haven't even told him, you know, the genre that I'm mainly focusing on. I'm just kind of vaguely telling him how I want to eventually become an author and hopefully make a living off of it in the future once I get my bank account. Sorry, my eye was itchy. Come on, Jace. We don't have all day. Come on, Jace. Come on. Please, please. But yeah, my dad and other people, I just wish they would understand that setting these crazy goals, it can do more harm than good. I I get it, like, you know, I think some tiger parents, I will admit, they're well-meaning, but I don't think they tend to take into consideration that just like, you know, these expectations can have harmful effects on their child, especially if you're like rushing them and you're using joke blackmailing tactics. Me. Penguin. I like penguins. Penguins are cute. Okay, come on, Jace. Please, Jace. I don't want this video to shut off on me. Hopefully it won't. But ever since that Miitopia playtest I did, I've been paranoid. Plus, Ice-Spring Free Chem 8 is kind of crappy anyway, so... hopefully OBS will do better. Okay, hopefully we should finally pick up Jace, and then we'll take him back and defeat the Griffin, and that'll be a good way to end it off. Okay, good. This should be it. Because the spot was like a little different. It was like spiky or whatever. Okay, sorry if it's loud. I'm just trying to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. You'll have... Oh, wait. I haven't gotten the scroll yet, huh? Or have I? Hold on. Let's talk to the serious soldier. Oh, okay, good. Alright. Hold on, let's see. Hold on. Alright. Okay. Oh, what? Okay. Hold on. It's not... Oh yeah, I think I have to talk to... Okay, but he's missing his face. Hold on a sec. What do I do? Oh, okay. I stopped. Okay. I still have stuff I have to do. Okay, I guess we'll play another battle or two, and then we'll end it off. I guess we're not gonna get Jace quite yet. We may get him in the second episode, or not the second, the next episode. All right. But yeah, I think I've ran out of stuff to say about the whole tiger parenting and helicopter parenting. So I think I'm just going to conclude my rant unless I can find something else comes to mind that I haven't mentioned. But yeah. So many moles! Goodness gracious. Goodness freaking gracious. Thinking this is why I mostly prefer magic-based jobs. At least in the earlier part of the game when we're dealing with a million moles. Great. Okay, we'll do spicy dish. I hate how it causes resentment, but flambe, they'll just dodge flambe, and then I'll have Taru heal me. Man, I wasn't expecting this episode to get this long, but oh my god, I just had so much to vent about. I've been having a lot of pent-up distress lately. Okay, let me check something right quick. Can we please progress for... Okay, I don't want this to run too long, so we're gonna continue with saving the king in the next episode, and hopefully we'll also pick up Jace and defeat the Griffins, or not Griffins, Griffin. I don't know why I thought I was just at the arid frontier, so I thought I was gonna pick up Jace, but that's right. I got so caught up in my rant that I forgot we have to save the king first. So yeah, we're gonna do that in the next episode, and hopefully we'll also defeat the Griffin with the one that we have to with Jace. Now, before I end off the video, oh, okay. It's still okay. Good. It's still going. I thought it stopped for a moment. I was about to freak the fuck out, but all right. Before I end off this video, I want to show off the video I was referring to. It's wild, man. I think it's this one. Helicopter parenting video. You see, it gives a freaking...
with each other in kind of taking apart that book, some of those questions that we have.
Okay, I understand she had like a sprained foot, so she wasn't able to take her child to school, but nah, this is just wild, bro. It gives a fucking overhead view of where your child is and what they're doing. And you can also hear their fucking surroundings.
With each other in kind of taking apart that book, some of those questions that we have.
Like, this is next level helicopter. I even commented on this. This is next level helicopter parenting. You can see the other comments too. But yeah, helicopter parenting and tiger parenting. I understand some people who do this, they may be well-meaning, but they don't seem to look at the bigger picture. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end this off now. This has ran way too long, and I don't want to get the recording to get shut off on me, so yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.